is Saturday, April 20th, and you are watching You Don't Watch Sports right here on the Feo Grande YouTube network. My name is Bill Smith, and I'm joined as always by the man, the myth, the legend, Feo Grande himself, Omari Ellis. Omari, how's your sports week?
You know what? Sports week was just fine because, of course, we started it off again with another victory for the Battlehawks. We also got the Lakers. They won the play-in thing, so they're into the tournament. We'll talk about that in a bit, but it's a good sports week.
All right. Hope you're having a good sports week as well. We're going to help you along with that because we're going to cover three easy topics just to sprinkle a little information into that sports conversation as we are your guiding light through the sea that is sports talk. So let's get it started with topic number one. Omari, we touched on this a couple of weeks ago, and we've been quiet on it as we've been allowing things to simmer, build. We said at the time, we don't have all the cards haven't been laid out yet. This is still a developing story.
All right.
Shohei Ohtani and the gambling scandal of 2024 with his translator, Ipe Mizuhara. If you remember, we covered that a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Some developments have occurred, and we now know the situation. Now, at the time, we told you there were several options that could be going on here. Ipe just has a horrible gambling addiction. His good friend Shohei Ohtani helped him pay his debts, not knowing that in this country that has some legal ramifications. There was the option that Ipe Mizuhara had stolen the money from Shohei Ohtani. We also presented that as something that the Shohei Ohtani camp was saying at the time. And then there was the third option that Shohei Ohtani was involved on the gambling end of things.
And so
Uh,
many often are.
that is correct. So we have a full-on federal investigation that is wrapping up as Ipe Mizuhara pleads guilty to the theft of over $16 million from Shohei Ohtani. And Omari, the feds have everything. They have everything. They have IP addresses for wire transfers, all of them going from Shohei Ohtani's bank account to the bookie, all placed with devices either in Ipe's home or in Ipe's pocket. We have voice memos by the bank to confirm, to voice confirm authorization for certain large transactions, these wire transfers. And you can clearly tell it is Ipe impersonating himself as Shohei Ohtani. We have
My
thousands
goodness.
and thousands of text messages and recorded conversations between Ipe and Shohei Ohtani that have been combed over by a Japanese linguist, where at no point ever is there any kind of connection towards gambling, towards odds, towards anything financial other than basic home purchases for Shohei Ohtani. Because what this federal investigation is starting to paint, if you step back and look at all of these things and start to view the larger image, it is looking like Ipe Mizuhara not only is a man with a gambling problem, but he is also a thief and a con
Mm.
man.
Yeah, I'd say. Jesus.
This player from a foreign land and a foreign language comes here, and because he is the sole member of the Los Angeles Angels that can speak Japanese, he is assigned to be Shohei Ohtani's translator. He is granted access to millions of dollars and fame and privilege, and seems to take advantage of it in the worst ways, isolating Shohei Ohtani to a degree where there was very little people that Shohei directly communicated with, other than Ipe Mizuhara. Um, to set up his very first bank account in the United States, Ipe Mizuhara was there. Within a day after the bank account being set up, Ipe Mizuhara had used the login information to connect his cell phone to Shohei Ohtani's bank account. Ipe Mizuhara was directly involved in all of Shohei Ohtani's initial purchases, including the home that he lives in and everything else. Um, we don't know. Obviously, Shohei had a life and connections in Japan that he communicated with. But as far as his English life, so far, we can't know if he actually got to speak to anyone in a direct sense. So this is really painting a dark picture that has really cleared Shohei Ohtani's name. Now, obviously, any conspiracy theorist, if they believe the conspiracy, is going to find authorization for their theory.
Oh yeah.
Usually that's purely with speculation of like, oh, well so now the thing is going to be now it's too neat and with a ribbon. So it's too tidy and closed with a ribbon that
What
obviously
if
means
Shohei just told him to do that to give him so he could have him be a fall guy?
yeah, this was a plan that they have been setting up since literally the second day that they were ever in contact with each other. And then they never spoke about it in recorded form, ever.
Well, Shohei was just that
Shohei
smart.
never sent him a text on a last minute bet idea. Never checked in with him on a line. Ever. Always did it face to face and in person.
Yeah,
These are the things that
that way
these
they
people
know
have
what's
to
wearing a
jump to.
wire or something.
Um,
That
so
is crazy though.
yeah,
It's good news for Shohei.
absolutely terrible
Well,
news for Ipe Mizuhara. Good news for Shohei that he's out of that.
yeah,
Bad news for Shohei that he had to
that
go
he's been
through it.
dealing with it. Yeah.
And yes, and yeah, loss of over $16 million that I don't know if he like who's paying that back. I don't know who's paying that back. The government isn't just going to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, here's a check for $16 million." So yeah, that's very unfortunate, and we wish the best for Shohei. Hopefully, it doesn't affect his play. Let's move on to topic number two, Omari,
Topic
because it's
number
the NBA
two.
playoffs, and we haven't really broken it
Yes,
down yet.
we have not. So we had some play-in games this week. I mentioned earlier that the Los Angeles Lakers beat the Pelicans this past week to classify or to qualify for the playoffs, and they're playing against Denver
Classify and
tonight.
qualify.
Classify and qualify. They're playing against the Nuggets tonight. Round one game series starts. Also tonight, we got other games starting tonight. Actually, we got 4 games going on tonight. We got Philadelphia against the New York Knicks. The Philadelphia is going to be at New York. We got Phoenix at Minnesota, and Orlando at Cleveland. Easter, or yeah, I said what I said. We got
Said what
those.
you
So
said.
we
Said
got
what you
two
said.
games. Yeah, it's round one in the playoffs at that. Tomorrow we got some more games as well. LA versus Dallas, Milwaukee versus Indiana, Boston and Oklahoma City against their opponents. You know how it's going. So who you got in these playoffs, Bill?
Well, Omari, I'm a guy who is, mm, I'm really fascinated to see the Eastern Conference Finals that I think are going to be Boston and Milwaukee. I think that's going to be a huge series. Um, I predicted something earlier in this year, and I also predicted something I feel like at the All-Star break. I don't remember what either of those were. I probably jumped on the Milwaukee bandwagon shortly after
The Dame.
the Dame trade.
Yeah.
And then I think I might have picked Boston at the All-Star break. And now I'm just going to completely ignore both of those and flop over to the West because it's playoff time, baby. And I got to support the king.
Oh yeah. if he's in there, I'm rooting for him until he's out. That's just what
You
it
know,
is.
he couldn't have asked for a harder
Oh,
route. Where tonight you're going to face the defending champions,
who
the same
swept you
team,
last year?
the same team that knocked you out in a sweep last year. You're facing the MVP Jokic, Jokic, Joe,
Yeah,
Joe, Joe, Joe,
Jokic,
Joe, Jokic, Jokic, Joe,
Jokic,
Joe,
Jokic,
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 Jokic, Jokic,
Jokic.
Jokic,
Yeah,
Jokic.
yeah,
Look at I'm fucking
Jokic.
yoked. Uh,
Lifted them horses.
Jokic. So
Siberian.
yeah, he's got a hard route to climb, and in 6 days come back to me, and I may be like, never mind. Let's go back to my pick of Boston. But for now, I'm riding with the king, baby. Who you got?
Exactly. Um, in the West, that's definitely who I'm riding with and rooting with. If, like you said, objectively, it's probably going to be the champs continuing on.
I
But
mean, yeah, they didn't exactly get worse,
yeah,
and none of the Western teams really got better. Like they got like, some folks got better, but you know what I'm saying?
I mean, OKC,
Like who went elite this year?
isn't OKC the one seed? I know
Yeah,
people have been sleeping on them, but they're right there. And I
right.
feel like
That's
they could
accurate. That's
easily be one
accurate.
of those teams that why do you guys keep ignoring the fact that we're here? Are we looking at the worst one seed ever? Beat somebody. Dude, we're still looking at the worst one seed ever. And then they make it to the conference finals and lose to LeBron. I wish I could still
Yeah,
say
I
that with
don't know
confidence.
why I don't know why I don't have any belief in the Thunder in the playoffs. I don't know why, but I don't.
Let's
I'm
go.
I'm sure they'll make it through the first round. But beyond that,
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy that stock. I don't know why. I
I'm
know
too
why I'm
casual
buying
of a sports
I
fan
know
to
why I'm
buy
buying
that
the
stock.
Lakers stock.
Yes. I'm too
I know
casual of a
why I'm
sports fan.
buying Boston stock, and
I know why I'm not.
I know why I'm buying Denver stock.
Let me tell you
I
what
don't
stock I will never buy.
there's something in my core telling me not to invest in Oklahoma City.
I don't
I'm
care
sorry to
what
Thunder fans.
insider trader you got. I tell you what stock I'm never buying.
Any
I don't
stock that comes
care.
out of Boston.
Now, like I said, you can give me the insider trading information. I'll tell you, I already know. Of course, it's a sure deal. It's a very safe stock to put money in. Fuck it. I'm stupid. We gamble out here. That said, let's go. I want I want a Milwaukee Lakers finals. I want Giannis versus Bron. And I want Bron to tell Giannis he's got to wait a little longer.
Ooh. I thought you were about to say that he's gonna unseat the king, take that throne.
Nah,
Not yet. Not yet.
nah. I always want to. I like seeing dominant people dominate. People think I only hate people when they're really good because they win all the time. No, that's the exact opposite of what I hate. I have other reasons for not liking Boston teams. It just so happens that they also win all the time. Yeah. Anyway, let's go, LeBron. The Warriors didn't make it this year, right? Or did they?
Uh who was
I'm
that
double
last
checking
play-in
here.
game? I don't think so. This is gonna look terrible on our part. This is how casual we are,
Yeah,
folks.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. The two guys, casual.
Two guys, super cash, super cash. Uh they are in the playoff.
Cash.
It's the Kings versus the Warriors in the playoff game.
Oh my. Was I just blind when I read that earlier? Oh, they just don't play today or tomorrow. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, Kings versus Warriors. Warriors, another sleeper team on the East, in the West, because Curry's been here too. That they still got all three of them motherfuckers. They've been here
No,
before.
sorry. Los Angeles beat New Orleans, so they got to move on. Golden State lost to Sacramento. So now
Gotcha.
Sacramento played New Orleans last night.
Gotcha. Ha ha.
So Warriors are already out of
Woo!
it.
Woo! Ha ha.
That's how out of touch we are. Um
Woo! Ha ha.
So let's move on to topic
Yeah.
number 3. As tradition here on You Don't Watch Sports, it is a sports entertainment topic. We got a big
Oh.
pay-per-view coming up this weekend, Omari. It
Oh,
is
yes, they do.
AEW Dynasty.
Um,
I was hoping to just run through these matches real quick with you. Uh so um so we can figure them out.
all right, let's do it. Let's do
All
it.
right. Now, very first one, it's not taking place on the actual pay-per-view, which I feel like is a shame because it's kind of a big, I don't know, I feel like it's a big moment. But it's going to be taking place on Zero Hour, where the Ass family, um the acclaimed are going to be facing the Bullet Club Gold,
Okay.
where both sets of trio titles will be on the line, and they have promised a unification of the two different trio titles at Dynasty. So who do you think is going to walk away with the either new trios or six-man tag champions?
I'm gonna go ahead and say Bullet Club Gold. Acclaimed and the ass family. They've been having these titles for a while. I think they've had them since all in or whatever Wembley last year. Because I remember just the time warp of I can't believe it's 2023 and 80,000 people are sitting here yelling "Scissor me, daddy ass" as Billy Gunn wins a championship. So that was weird, but I think it with Sling Blade being one of the people that came in with a lot of fanfare, I think this is a accolade to give him, building up on
Yeah.
that.
And the way the internet responded when they had Daddy Ass
Yeah.
basically squash him a couple weeks ago.
So to be
Uh
fair, if you look at Daddy,
no, yeah, but he's also in
he's
his
50.
50s. He's in his 50s, and
I
this
agree with you. He
this is
shouldn't
the
have won
this is
that.
the guy that hasn't gotten a whole lot of support since he came over, considering the amount of fan support he has. He hasn't gotten a whole lot of behind the curtain support. So
I
I think that
agree.
needs to start at Dynasty Zero Hour, where him and his crew unify those trio belts.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes, sir.
so looks like it just in the middle of this week, we knew that it was going we were pretty sure it was going to be added to the card. But just in the middle of this week, it was for sure announced that it would be for the I still don't know what it stands for, FTW Championship belt.
Fuck the
Hook.
world.
Fuck the World Championship.
It's a Taz specific championship from back when he was in ECW. He just kind of came up with his own title, like "fuck the world, fuck everything else." At least that's one of the things I've heard. I've heard other stuff too, but it's pretty much whatever Taz wants it to be. But that's the most common one.
Okay.
It's the Taz Championship.
So we have Hook defending it against Chris Jericho In another one of
Okay.
his you no, you will lose to me, so you will be under the Jericho tree of influence, and I will teach you how to be a pro wrestler. Things when in actuality it's you're young and popular with the fans, so let me leech on your TV time. What do you think is going to happen here?
I think Hook wins.
Hook's got to win, right?
It's I mean, it's Taz's son with the Taz championship.
Right, but he's got to lose that thing at some point, right?
Hasn't he already once? And then he got it back, I thought.
Yeah, that might be accurate. But I mean, he can't just always be walking around. Like, he's got to move on from the Taz championship at some point, doesn't he?
But does he have to do it now?
I don't know. And does he have to do it to Chris Jericho?
Conversely, a win over Chris Jericho,
Yeah,
more legitimacy in that regard.
right. But also conversely, I would say a Jericho win would continue the storyline stronger than a Hook win, which would end the
I,
story.
as someone who's not as into what the storyline is right now, fair enough. Maybe Jericho.
Yeah, I see. Yeah,
I'm
that's the whole
saying
thing
Hook
is
anyway,
I don't know
but
the
yeah.
Jericho private in behind the walls influence on this scenario.
Mm-hmm.
But I would imagine this storyline just kind of started and they've kind of had it on the fast forward button. Like it's really only gotten about three dynasties and a collision.
Okay.
Um uh to build up to this point of like run in, I save you. Next week, run in, I save you. Next week, we should tag together. I find you interesting, kid. To next week,
Oh.
you're in the family now. I'm going to mentor you. I don't want you to fucking mentor me. Go fuck yourself. Your dad's a deadbeat, and I could be a better dad than you. So now he's just straight up stealing Christian things. And then, and so yeah, and now we're fighting. That's all happened in about three dynasties and a collision. So if Jericho wants this to be something that keeps him on TV, like to be the thing that's his thing that he's doing on TV for a little bit longer, the next thing I would think to do would be to give him the FTW championship so he can also rub it in Taz's face,
That
who's
is
going to
a
be sitting right there at ringside.
that is a fantastic educated guess. I'm saying Cook anyway, just to be
Because you
contrarian.
don't want to see that.
It's not even I don't want to see it. What you say makes it perfect sense. I'm just let's
Yeah.
disagree on it.
No, yeah. I honestly, I prefer Hook. But
Mhm.
I would guess that if they want to keep the story going, Jericho takes the title.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Um, Another random one. We've got. I'm sorry. I struggled in giving him the correct name. We have Adam Copeland,
Okay.
Eddie Kingston, and what's his name there? Briscoe.
Oh, yes.
Mark Briscoe, versus the House of Black. What are you thinking on this one?
I feel like House of Black is losing. Uh because
You
I
got
don't
three
know.
favorites
Yeah.
right there on the.
Yeah. I want House of Black to win just because I like the whole idea, the gimmick. I've been a big fan of Malachi Black since he was Aleister Black. But yeah, they're not beating that other team.
Yeah. So
Unless
here's
unless Kingston, no, what's his name could eat a pin.
I
Briscoe
think
could eat a pin.
Briscoe could absolutely eat a pin from Malachi. Like
Yeah.
I think that combo is is seeable. I think House of Black should win this.
Yeah, there's
Uh
no title on the line or nothing, right?
uh no, yeah, nobody has any titles.
Yeah, I
Well,
think House of
Copeland
Black
has the
takes
TNT
this.
title, but
Briscoe can take a pin, like you said, from Malachi and keep it
um
going.
I'm wanting House of Black to win this to build them up, just in general in AEW kayfabe.
Yeah,
But also I've never been a fan of random main eventers team up against established team and squash them kind of story because they're main eventers. I've
just
always been
depends on the team.
well, no, but they're a team. Like they
Yeah.
know how to act as a team. They wrestle as a team, and you guys are just a couple of singles fighters that just randomly
Well,
fell into each other.
that's what makes it interesting.
Right. I just a lot of time the WWE version of my brain
Oh
it
no.
anticipates a squash match there.
Dude,
And
same.
so
You heard me at first. I'm like, I think they are just straight up losing with that other team. But I'm like, wait, nope. Process this. I can see I'm saying House of Black.
all right, let's move into some titles here.
Yes.
We got the TBS Championship. One of my favorites in AEW right now, Julia Hart going up against Willow Nightingale. What do you think's going to happen here? Very
Um,
obviously setting up the weirdly like you I almost said the number one contender for Mercedes Monet. But it's setting up who's going to be champion while Mercedes Monet is number one contender.
yeah. So what I was going to say is, isn't haven't they been teasing a lot of Willow and Mercedes stuff?
I mean, they've been teasing a triangle. They've been teasing a
Oh,
lot of last week yeah, last week Mercedes was doing an interview and the lights went out and she got mugged. Um and then
who done it?
yeah, she's been supporting Willow in her fight against the Julia Hart Sky Blue House of Black faction. Um so it's been all three of them going against each other. I mean, clearly we all know our AEW fans would know the history of Willow and Mercedes, and that seems like an obvious one. But I don't want the title to come off Julia right now. Like I really like the character that Julia is doing, and I feel like she kind of needs the title, or else she'll get lost
Fair.
in the shuffle of things in the women's
Hmm.
division.
Is she still affiliated with House of Black?
Uh-huh. Yeah, she's still doing her creepy shit.
Yeah. Yes. Uh, you know, I think Julia keeps it, but it's on some like sketchy shit to make it a triangle thing.
Oh, I like that. I didn't even consider that. That seems like the obvious choice.
Yeah.
And then also that gives Mercedes some outs inside the match
Hmm.
for rest and shit, considering this is going to be her first match back. Um okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense now, actually, now that you've said that. I think I'm gonna vote for that too. Just stole your thing.
That's
Congratulations.
fine. I've stolen this.
Um, the AEW Women's World Championship is going to be Thunder Rosa challenging against Timeless Tony Storm. Is there any way, Omari, that this belt is ever coming off of this woman until she eventually fights Mercedes?
um,
I feel like in my heart of hearts, I feel like they should do a Roman Reigns with her and just like go from winning legitimately to constant wins via interference and slipper and back to winning legitimately. Like
while I have nothing against what I have seen of this black and white Tony Storm stuff,
uh-huh.
I'm not I haven't watched it enough to know if I'm still like, yeah, keep it going or not. I'm not sure how I am about it. Part of me's like, they're still doing that, huh? But it's not like, oh my God, this. That said, if it is still entertaining, it can continue going. I was gonna make a comment like, if I had seen what the entrances are, I could tell you probably who's coming out with that. If Thunder Rosa comes out and she is full on, you know, warrior paint, Aztec garb or whatever, she's leaving with the title.
No,
That's just
yeah.
how it is with
We
the Mexicans in that company.
we
And I'm
we've
not
heard
saying that
we've
as
heard
a
your thoughts on
stereotype.
we've heard your
It
thoughts on
happened.
whatever we
It
want
happened with the Lucha
about going
Bros.
full Aztec. Yeah,
Yeah, they
you
went full.
never wrestle somebody who goes full Aztec.
Yeah, you're losing. That's how Thunder Rosa when she won her title. She came out with her own little oh, oh no. Well, sorry. But where's Dynasty at? That'll problem. Do you know where Dynasty's being held this year?
I do, Omari. Do you don't know?
No. I'm super casual when it comes to AEW.
It is going to be at the Chaffetz Arena. Uh which is a little arena that a certain college uses a lot. That college being St. Louis University.
Oh, derp, I did do that.
Yeah. It's going to be in St. Louis, Missouri.
Shout out to Big Bro Ibn. He's been tweeting about going to it.
Okay, he's going.
So yes,
Are him and Jazz heading up there? I was thinking
that's
I've been checking tickets on SeatGeek. I'm thinking about it. But again, do it on a fucking Saturday and I would already own my tickets. I'm basically going to be deciding at 4 p.m. Sunday whether I feel like going to a thing that's going to end at 11 o'clock at night downtown when I got to be at work at 7 o'clock in the morning. Like, really, it's got to be real. It's got to be something real sweet.
okay. Tony Storm continues.
Tony Storm.
They're not in a very. They're not like in
Omari
Texas
just said we're
or.
white.
I'm saying, I'm saying it's not where Thunder Rosa's from.
Right. No, yeah, I get you.
Not like a hometown victory, so they can afford to keep it going.
All right, the AEW International Championship. So now that it's no longer in Orange Cassidy's possession, do we care?
Uh,
Do we care
not.
about Roderick Strong versus Kyle
I
O'Reilly?
mean, there's the history of them being the undisputed, brothers. They've been together forever.
Mhm.
Apparently they've put on some. If I
Another
remember
match,
correctly,
another match likely to end in some shenanigans
yeah, if I remember
within.
correctly, though, this is if it's not Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick, it was Kyle O'Reilly and another one of them. They have put on some good matches throughout their careers in all the companies they've gone to together, from
Right.
what I've been told. So it'll be a real technical match. But if you're asking me if I care, like you mentioned before, not really. I'll say Kyle O'Reilly wins because why not? I'm sure. Like you said, I lost interest when Orange Cassidy dropped it.
Yeah. And we got so many belts. Speaking of which, the brand new one, the AEW Continental Championship, now being held by Kazuchika Okada.
Oh, he's
Uh
keeping it.
he's making his very first defense against, but it is against the Bastard Pack.
Uh,
In his first official singles return. I don't know if he's done
that
any
match
singles on Dynamite
that
or
match
if he's
might
just
be
done
sick.
tags. Oh yeah, that match is total. This is AEW, Omari. All these matches are going to be sick.
That match might be sick. I'm looking forward to it. I'm saying Okada keeps it though. I mean, want to talk about fanfare and justifiably so.
Yeah.
Okada, yeah, he keeps it. I like Pat. I really do. The guy just cracks me up. He's so angry all the time,
All right.
and he
So from the new member of the Elite retaining and winning his championship, we'll go to an original duo of the Elite, the Young Bucks versus FTR in a ladder match for the currently vacant AEW Tag Team Championships.
oh no.
That's going to be a match
Why are the titles vacant?
because Sting and Darby Allin won them, and then Sting immediately retired.
That's right.
So they've been
Sting
vacant
died
since then.
undefeated. That's hilarious. Give me FTR. It'll probably be Bucks because EVPs and all that, but give me FTR.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Bucks. And again, here's the weird thing. I think these are going to be all really great matches, but it feels like several of them are lining up to end in shenanigans. And when you have a bunch
Yeah,
of matches on a card with shenanigans, it starts to not feel special. So we'll see. I mean, they could always
hold
not
on.
do it, but this is another
Shenanigans.
one where it feels like shenanigans are going to be involved.
Shenanigans. Bucks with interference from Jack Perry.
Yep. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are predicting currently. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is maybe your third or fourth match that, from a wrestling plot perspective, is rife with the likelihood for outside interferences, false finishes, or DQ scenarios when you didn't want to DQ, those kind of things. Um, let's go to something that I think would definitely have a definitive. There is a title on the line here because AEW is billing this match as the best in the world title.
Ooh.
Uh, who's currently the best? Is it the guy who literally has the best wrestler award of the year named after him, Bryan Danielson? Or is it the guy that has won the Bryan Danielson award 2 years in a row, Will Ospreay? um,
No.
Omari, what are you thinking here?
All right. So Bryan Danielson, very familiar with watching him and his ring style and why everyone says he's the best. Very technical wrestler. Tells the story. Doobie doobie doo. Will Ospreay wasn't as familiar with his game until like about the last year, and been seeing some splashes here and there. I can see why people are saying he's the best. While I haven't seen the technical, grabs and holds and shit, the athleticism
Yeah, he has
and
the flying that Danielson has never had in his career.
yeah. And so this match will be a banger. I think they should give it to Will because I think the last guy they brought in that had this whole big debate of who's the best in the world with Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. Um, they had Bryan Danielson beat him anyway, and they could have him do it with Ospreay as well. But I know one of these guys is on his way out. Not even not. I'm not saying that he's too old, but he has constantly hinted at it for years, and even at one time did retire.
Yeah.
So he's on the way down.
No,
Whether
yeah, he has stated that this is 2024 is Bryan Danielson's last full-time year wrestling. He's not saying he's going to have his last match in 2024, but he has publicly stated that it will be the last year of him being a full-time wrestler,
okay,
which means maybe a once a year shows up and does like a 2 month plot run build up to a single match or something like that
with
after
that in
this.
mind, this may be the start of his last big like storyline where and Danielson, let's say, wins this match. Osprey wins a run back, and then they have a rubber match like near the end.
You
But
just nailed exactly, literally exactly what I've been preparing to say when it was my turn.
oh,
Um, uh,
like
um,
I did it because of as you sold it to me about it being his last year. I'm
yeah.
like, this makes
No, yeah,
sense.
it's his last. He's been public about it that it's going to be his last full-time year. He's already kind of done all the big ones in AEW that he needs to do, except for this new guy who's just came in named Will Ospreay. I think this situation is ready to be milked. for exactly what you said, 3 matches. I think Danielson wins this one, and I think Will wins the last two. And he puts over Will Ospreay as the new Bryan Danielson heir
Mhm.
on his way out the door. That is my prediction. We all know that Bryan Danielson, if anything, is an incredibly unselfish
Correct.
wrestler. At times that's one of the main criticisms from his fans, is that they wish that he would be a little bit more political, a little bit more selfish at times in his career, and pushed for things for him. But he is always looking to make the other wrestlers and put them over. I think it would be short-sighted to do it right now on a single match in a random pay-per-view that they just created 5 weeks ago, in St. Louis, in
And would
not
it
that
be
in a small arena. Like, it's not even I'm not trying to put anybody down or anything, but this is a college arena in town. We have 4 other facilities that are bigger than it, I think. So it's like, this isn't, I don't think this is a match of the year candidate.
yeah, and would it
There's
be
no reason to
called
not do it
Dynasty?
2 more times.
And would it be called Dynasty? Why not have the established dude win?
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
Will's been on a heater. He's undefeated so far in AEW.
Yeah, and it's that like humble pie type deal.
Yeah. It's the moment to set it. All right, I still have things to learn. Let
Mhm.
me reassess as I continue to make my run for the championship kind of thing.
Yeah, about
Before I could get the
time.
title, I got to go through Danielson.
Exactly.
Speaking of the title, current AEW champion Samoa Joe versus Swerve Strickland. Whose house?
Oh,
Ron's house.
I wanted to just be contradictory and be like Joe's house,
Oh,
but I do think it's Swerve's time. I like Joe. I'm happy they finally that someone finally put a belt on that man. But it's Swerve's time. That has been heating up for a long ass time. I got to see him run and fucking kick Moxley in the face right in front of me on a dynamite. That was pretty cool.
nice.
Um, yeah, let's go Swerve.
Yeah, I'm gonna go swerve when I drive, swerve when I drive. Yeah, we're a Swerve household. We're a Swerve household. Probably I'm gonna say my third favorite thing on AEW. Weirdly behind Tony Storm and Julia Hart. There's something, I don't know, both of those characters really connect with me. And I'm normally not a gimmick guy. Like, I'm normally not a huge gimmick guy, but those two things, I'm entranced by them when they're on screen. I could do an
That's one thing
entire
I like
dynamite
about
of.
AEW is that they embrace like a lot of gimmick things,
Hmm.
like and the
Yeah, the
people
gimmicks
who
are still
embrace
alive
it.
in AEW and in NXT. If you ever want to check out NXT, they go hard on their gimmicks there. There's literally a small university inside of the NXT facilities currently. There's also a full-on mafia family. Um, there's a lot of, as well as some spooky shit. There's a lot of things going on in NXT. So yeah, the gimmicks are still alive. They're just not alive on the big main brands anymore, unless you're a Viking. Ivar gets a ton of screen time on Raw. Okay. Any last things on AEW Dynasty, Omari, before we close out this bad boy?
Watch it. It should be fun.
Yeah. Except it's hard. It's not easy to watch. I'll go ahead and say that. Make it easier to watch. I like PLEs better than pay-per-views. I'm just gonna say that. I'm much more comfortable paying a subscription where in the long run I'm going to give some company a lot more money than I am paying a huge one-time fee. Um, that may be insane to some folks, but
It actually might help them because they've been around what 4 years now. Might actually help them to get a streaming thing like a network type deal. Maybe they have a lot of the extra side shows, but even if it's just like the past Dynamites and pay per views,
I
for
think I
people
mean
who want to catch
it
up.
would be a lot easier to watch on my end, at
Hmm.
least I know as an attempting AEW fan who doesn't have cable TV and like I said, in the age of PLEs and streaming services, the PPV is is a hard just a hard step to go to for knowing that it's $50 for just that 3 hours of content is a hard mental leap for me. Um, but I know it's how we used to operate all the time when I was a kid. That's the price my dad would pay when he would during that stretch of Attitude Era where he was getting almost every pay-per-view for me. And they were doing that shit monthly, and a lot of those did not deserve to be pay-per-views. That was when they first started doing the monthlies, but they were not prepared for them. So they were basically Raws that you were paying $50 for with like an extended bikini sequence. All right, yeah, that's it on our AEW and our three topics.
Yes, indeed.
If you like hearing us talk about this crazy shit, we kind of gave you a taste of it with this long episode today. You can continue on digging through this channel here and find our show, whatever we want to watch that the other guy hasn't seen. This guy hasn't seen. Uh, um, uh, this guy
Yeah.
hasn't seen where we have so many episodes down there. It's over 100, 2 seasons and more, award shows, all kinds of stuff. Go check them out. Omar,
Yes,
where else can they find you on the
indeed.
internet?
Yeah, you can also find me elsewhere on YouTube. I got a show over there that some people may have seen called Whatever We Want with the guy, friend of mine mentioned on the show, Super Jazz.
Super Jazz. That's back. That's back, right? I heard that's back. I heard that's back. Go check out the new episode this Wednesday on Whatever We Want. Check it out. They're back Wednesday, April 24th. Whatever we want. They're definitely back.
Yes, that is Super Jazz. Go check that out. You can also find me elsewhere on Twitter and Twitch at Gio Tommy. That's Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. Yeah. So that's all you gotta say. But anything else you want to say, folks?
Boom. No, that's your sports week. Bye.